Hey guys, welcome back for some more fun-filled adventures here in Skyrim. Now we just emerged from our cave, so this is it guys, the tutorial stage is over. And this is the moment in the game, on my first playthrough, when I knew I was playing this game. I came out of that cave and, there was old boy standing there, but I just started looking around and I was like, oh mama, you mean I can go anywhere? What's that structure over there? And yeah, my brain just started exploding. It was pretty awesome. So I don't know if you guys want the character in the game. Notice it's kind of big. It takes up a good amount of the screen. The male characters are even worse. The female you can kind of see around. It helps a little bit. But also when you take out a weapon, it really shrinks the character down even further. So just please leave in comments how you want me to play the game. Would you like the character in or out? Or maybe, you'd prefer it in or out during combat, but in or out, opposite during just exploration and farming. Alright, so yeah, flowers, guys. Just like Breath of the Wild. Take a time to grab everything the game throws at you, especially right here in the beginning. Now, I know you've got the weight problem, but we're going to fix that here pretty quick. For now, just kind of carry what you can carry. Grab these lootables along the way. There's blue mountain flower. And guys, that combines with different cooking ingredients for potions. And some of these potions sell for a lot of money. Not only do they sell for a lot of money, they also really help bump up your alchemy stats. So yeah, just, grab everything, at least for right now. At some point, we're going to be able to discern what is worth carrying and what isn't. In fact, I think the red mountain flowers really don't make anything fabulous, so I'll really just grab a few of those and kind of quit. What I'm really after is the blue mountain flowers right now. You want, grab a few thistles also while we're at it. Now, guys, I actually just got done for the last 2 hours fighting with my capture card here. I noticed in my intro video the graphics didn't look very good. They looked a lot better on my TV and my Switch than what I was recording, so I don't know what the deal is. I've tried changing settings around on it. I kind of just put everything back to default, and I'm going to try again. I'm kind of hoping maybe it was just the graphics of the game at the time. Darker dungeon, cloudier, smokier environment, etc. So I'm going to try this recording here, where I'm outdoors, and hopefully I'll get some daylight soon. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just couldn't quite get it right. Either it was way too saturated and way too, darkened and shaded, or it was like stonewashed. So yeah, in the other settings that you can do manually, it just wouldn't let me manipulate those, so excuse me. Waiting for my hiccups to go away here. It's interfering with my speech. So anyway, all that being said, what I'm watching on YouTube is not anywhere near as good as these graphics actually are. Now, I know I've been kind of talking a lot about dated graphics. I'm more referring to the motions. Motions aren't real fluid. They did pretty good, but especially like the dragons, things tend to pivot, and it just looks real funny until you get used to it. But as far as like the sharpness of edges and the details they put in and the coloring, it's a beautiful game. It's quite stunning. A lot of times I'll just kind of stand there and look at a scene and just marvel at how beautiful it is, considering how old the game is. Now, the sky, especially at night, wow, that's a sight to behold. But again, I'm not confident that the beauty of the graphics that it does have to offer are going to come through on the channel, unfortunately. So, until maybe I can buy a different capture card, this is the best I can do for y'all right now. There is a way to bump the saturation up, but like I said, that comes with a lot of extra, darkening and shading, and I'm kind of worried about a dungeon not being able to see real good in there. So what I'm going to try to do is see what happens during the daytime. I'll make a video at night, too, or in a dungeon, and just kind of see how I feel about it. If it's just terrible, and I feel like the beauty of the game really isn't coming through for y'all, then I'll try changing one of those settings to bump the saturation up a little bit. And if that's too bothersome with the darkening and shading, then y'all, I'll just go ahead and revert back to baseline here. Alright guys, so, you know, enough babbling about that. I tend to get sidetracked when I'm talking. There's 3 stones here right off the bat, and the maps aren't super helpful in this game. And I really wish they would tighten the map up, you know. It's rough. It gets you close, but it's not exact. Like in Breath of the Wild, you could really get in there and bam, pin something exact. Here, it's just kind of rough. So I will do map overviews, but they won't be quite as critical as they were before. Okay, so what I like to do here is you got 3 stones to choose from. You absolutely want to activate one of these. I'm going to go for the Mage Stone, because I will be using magic here real soon. And I absolutely want to bump that stat up as quickly as possible. So, you know, you're going to have to play to your play style, of course. I like the magic and the bows. So those are my go-tos for combat. I really don't like the 1- or 2-handed weapons. I'll use maybe one or the other on rare occasion, but I won't put any perks into either one of those stat categories for that reason. Alright guys, now what I'm really trying to do here is get down to this town, and the game is kind of telling us to do that. And I know, what am I doing, you know, why am I doing what the game tells me to do? I'm LevelUp Royal, I don't do that. But in this case I'm actually going to, because there's a reason for that. And from here, I'm actually going to branch out 2 different directions, and both of which, again, the game are kind of alluding they want you to go to. But again, there's real good reasons for that. But as soon as all that kind of stuff is done, then I'm going to break out. And guys, it's party time at that point. Alright, so I'm already getting excited. You can probably hear it in my voice. My toes are wiggling, just in case you were wondering. So, yeah, on the way, there is this mine. Now, this is a tough fight, especially if you're new to the game. So, you know, save the game here. Give it a few goes. If you're just getting frustrated and dying all the time, you know, don't sweat it. You can always come back to this. It's not real far from that village. So, I'm actually going to go for it. Now, there should be a baddie standing out here. And the reason I want to go for this is because we can get a pickaxe this way, and we can mine ores. If you don't have a pickaxe, there is no ore. So, so this is why I like my bows. It's, well, unless they charge you like that. It's a long-distance weapon. Okay, I need to pay attention here. So anyway, it's a long-distance weapon. What I would normally do if I wasn't, you know, sidetracked there with mental thoughts, I would have kind of plugged him a couple of times from a distance. Probably back in here somewhere. You know, still crouched, but as soon as that first arrow hits him, he's going to kind of snap out of it and start coming at you. But you should be able to lose 2 or 3 arrows from this vantage point. You know, bow and arrow, it's okay at close. You know, I was just kind of getting a little wiggly wobbly there. And I probably need to slow down my right joystick a little bit. But not right now. Okay, steel swords, they get a little better than, you know, the iron sword, but again, it's a lot of weight for minimum value, and, I'll probably change that out for my axe, actually. So that's damage 9 for 11. That's damage 9 for 10. So yeah, it's a pound less, and it's a bit more valuable. I'm not going to keep it forever, it's just kind of for right now. But again, I really don't use those weapons. I more like my bow and arrow, so I'll just kind of stick to that, especially for the walkthrough. Okay, so here you're going to find an axe. Now, again, you know, got to think about weight. You can chop wood with that to make arrows, but it's not real critical to have right off the bat. I'm more interested in the pickaxe. Unfortunately, I'm already pretty heavy here, so I'll do a quick. I only need 1 longbow. That saves 5 pounds right there. The shields, yeah, they don't really sell for good with our current speech level. Golly, these are good for selling, but they weigh an awful lot. That's over 100 pounds right there, just in those 3 armor, so you know, for the bang for the buck on the weight, the light stuff is usually pretty good. 2 pounds for 15 there isn't great. 1 pound for 15 is alright. So I'll probably dump all these. 8 for 25 isn't great. Okay, so you can see there's more valuable stuff I was holding there. So that dumped me down about 50 points. That's good enough for me. There's so much to this game, guys. Like, I was thinking about some stuff to talk about before I got on, and wowzers. My brain just kind of started spinning. Oh, grab a torch. You only need one. We're going to hand that to a follower, and then they take that out, and they kind of light the way for you. Little hack I figured out. Alright, so there's going to be a couple of bad guys in here. Right off the bat. Now, I was looking for my pickaxe. Not really seeing it. That's okay. There's plenty in here. Now, unfortunately, sometimes you'll have line of sight on an enemy. For example, I could plug that guy right now. The problem is, some of these objects, again, it's an older game, you know, you gotta take the bad with the good on this one. Sometimes the objects are not where they appear, so if I try to shoot an arrow, that could get hung up on one of these wooden structures, which really sucks. And I waited too long to take care of these guys. Now, I talked about this tactic in Breath of the Wild. Whoops, see? I just hit that rope. You shoot for a guy farther away, and then the one that's closer to you will kind of go over to that one to see what's going on. So it just gives you extra time, especially if you're crouched, like I'm crouched. So as you can see, very survivable. Whenever you're dealing with multiple foes, always sneak up on them, and always, always, always shoot the farthest guy first. Everyone will kind of turn their backs to you, go toward him, and that just frees you up for a little bit more damage. Okay, I don't know why I just picked that up. Nobody wants an iron sword. Gotta relearn the buttons, guys. Bear with me. Alright, it's like every single video game I play, all the buttons have to be different. I don't know why. The guy from Nintendo, the guy from Xbox, and the guy from PlayStation, and the guy from Alienware, I don't care, pick one, can't get together, have a beer, and decide what button is going to be the jump button. What button is going to be the activate button. Like, help us out! I'll buy the beer! Okay, not much else going on in here for a loot. That tatted journal, I've never figured out what to do with that, so I just never pick it up anymore. There should have been a coin purse here. Just not seeing it, I already grabbed it. Alright, so first things first. Now you can sleep, and that gives you a bonus. But you gotta do it for at least 8 hours. Okay, see, it says you awaken feeling rested. So there's like rested, well rested, and lover's embrace. So you can actually get married in this game, which, you know, it's kind of weird in a video game, but whatever. It comes with perks. So I'm gonna pick a spouse that will have a store, and you can visit every so often, talk to said spouse, and get free gold like every couple of days. It's pretty awesome. Not only that, when you sleep with the spouse in the same bed for that 8 hours, you'll get like a better bump on your levelings. So the well rested, I think, gives you like a 5 or a 10% bump in how fast you level your skills. But what I'm actually going to do is real early here in the game, I'm going to go to one of the stones. I think it's called the Lover's Stone, and it does like all of your stats. I think 15% gain, so that's pretty freaking quick, and it helps you level your character in all categories just that much faster. It's super awesome. Okay, once again, guys, going to target the farthest guy, and also don't worry if you miss. Wherever the arrow hits, they're going to kind of turn around and go see where the arrow hit. But I guess I took a little too long there, and that's okay. Always target the one with the bigger weapon first. Notice that guy's got that sledgehammer there, that two-handed weapon. That's going to do some damage. As you can just see, I took that hit there. So, you know, if you're dealing with multiple foes, after you do your bow and arrow stuff, get the one dead. That's the bigger threat first. For example, he's got the better armor on. So he had the stronger weapon, the better armor. That's one you want to go to first. And I am not carrying that sucker. 25 pounds? What, are they trying to kill us? Okay, steel mace, that's a little bit better damage, but quite a bit heavier. What I'm carrying right now is only 10 pounds. So, you know, yeah, if you're going to use a one-handed swinging weapon, you might want to upgrade from 9 to 12 damage there. That's pretty significant increase, especially at this stage in the game. Okay, another ingredient I'm looking for is salt pile. So check barrels, check bags, check anything loose laying around for salt pile. That makes another real good strong potion that you can sell for a lot of money. Alright guys, since I'm done with all enemy threats for the time being, I'm going to take a moment and harvest some of this ore. And you don't have to like actually equip the pickaxe in your hand, it's automatic. As long as it's in your inventory, all you have to do is activate the ore and it starts swinging away. And guys, this is the one thing I really don't like about this game. I can't tell you how many hours of my life I have sat on this couch and watched my character farm ore. It just takes way too long. It'd be nice if the modding community could give you a mod you could install to like speed that up somehow. That would be amazing. Then I literally would have zero complaints about this game besides the glitches. But I'm going to play the game to avoid those glitches, so you know it's all good. Alright guys, there's plenty more ore to mine. Now there's another baddie coming up, so notice I'm crouched. And there's a nice little loot spot here. Got another spell tomb, so I'm going to take a moment and read my book. Clairvoyance I'm not real big on, so I'll probably not even really use that. Alright, there should have been an ore here somewhere, but I can't farm it yet. Well, so much for sneak attack. Okay, another good thing about taking damage is that it bumps your armor rating up. So that skill, I mean. Not the armor rating itself, but the skill. So, yeah, I usually let myself, you know, get wailed on a bit, especially when I'm not paying attention and I let an enemy sneak up on me anyway. Now, be cautious, guys. If you pick up these keys, you're stuck with them. So, I don't like to pick especially this key up, especially in this dungeon, because I want to get my lockpicking skill up. Because, you know, that every skill you bump, it's going to help level your character overall. So everything the game will let me do, I try to do it. So in certain areas, you do have to have the key. You cannot lockpick the door. But in some dungeons like this one, you can actually do some lockpicking here, but not if you already have the key. Okay, so here's that ore, but again, I think I got a baddie coming up. Unless that was her I just killed. That was her I just killed. You're probably wondering why I'm taking the time to get this ore. It's absolutely essential for upgrading the character. Guys, it's going to be kind of labor intensive for a moment. I've found a system where you can do a bunch of crafting, you can do a bunch of cooking, you can do a bunch of this, that, and the other, and then you can go around and buy and sell. Every single activity is going to give you bumps in categories. Every single activity will overall bump your character's leveling. So, yeah, you know, again, I can't think of everything right now, but this is why I'm taking the time to grab, like, the blue mountain flowers, the salt pile, and just in case I don't have any carrots. The reason I say grab a few of everything is there's a lot of little side quests, and there's these... You can become Jarls of town, you know, like the Jarl's pets or whatever. I can't remember what they call it. Thane, maybe. And long story short, it comes with perks. You can buy houses and stuff. And in order to do that, you're going to have to do quests within their respective regions of the map. So, you know, sometimes you'll see a farmer and they say, hey, help me with carrots. I don't even know what I just picked up right there. I wasn't paying attention. So if you don't have a carrot in your inventory, you can't sell the carrot, and then you can't like help with your so-called status in that particular region. So, you know, sometimes they might want a tomato or a potato or something silly like that. So, you know, just, you know, especially early game, just grab a couple of everything. Unless you start having a weight issue, then you can drop, you know, everything but 1 or 2, and so forth. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this little loot spot. I really wish I was paying better attention to what I just got out of that chest. Maybe some clothing. Oh, wow! That is an awesome, awesome find. I've never found carry capacity this early in my game. Holy guacamole, guys. That is huge. So the bad thing is it's heavy armor, so it already weighs 6 pounds, but you can actually put that perk on light armor, so it only weighs 1 pound, so you get more out of that 25 increase in carrying capacity. But you better believe I'm absolutely going to quick that sucker right now, because that just bumped my weight up 25. Awesome! Or really only like 19 after you subtract the 6 for how much they weigh. But hey, it's almost 20. Okay, and I just noticed iron helmet. Alright guys, moving right along. Once again, a lock-picking opportunity, and this is exactly why I did not get that key. And there it is. Oh, I actually need to do that, don't I? I will take more health, please. Alright, so I already farmed that iron. It's time to go ahead and proceed on down the cave. Now we're going to have a pretty good bad boy nest coming up. And bad girl, they're not just all males in this game. Breath of the Wild, I think all the monsters were men. Which, I guess they were trying to tell us something, like, we need to be nicer or something. But, yeah, this one's got male-female, so I guess I need to think about that when I say bad boy nest from now on. How about a baddie nest? Alright, so enough jibber-jabber. There's a person walking around kind of on that bridge, or sometimes they're up and down this walkway, depending on, you know, when you get here, relative to their movements. There should be another one kind of hiding back in that cubby. You can't really see it from here, but that cave kind of extends to the left. And I still don't see my... Oh, there he is, my drawbridge guy. And then there should be somebody down here wailing away at the smelter, and there he is. So again, keeping with my rule of farthest away character first, I'm going to start working on the guy on the bridge, or the guy to my left, whoever pops their head out first. That guy is really far away right now. Oh, also, another reason I say stay crouched, double damage, guys. Notice how much life that just took out of that bandit, one shot. So as long as you're hidden, you'll do that double damage. Whoops. You'll do that double damage there. Now, one thing about playing on the Xbox versus the Switch, one thing I really liked about the Switch was motion aiming. And I don't know why the Xbox doesn't give you that option, because that was a beautiful feature to have. I loved my motion aiming. Okay, I need to get these guys dead here pretty quick before they kill me! Okay, now sometimes if you're already known, notice that red dot on my compass. Sometimes you can, you know, sneak, and in given amount of time, they'll start not knowing where you are. Maybe I'm not hidden enough here. Oh, and if you get into a pickle like me, I was getting real low on health there, you can pause the game at any point, and you can go through your menus. So, you know, somebody could be absolutely just wailing on you. You can open your menu, and it pauses the whole game. It's freaking awesome. And then you can kind of go in there, you know, take your time, drink your potions, what have you. Change armor, matter. I don't have any jewelry yet. Okay. There's 6 things you can wear. You can wear your shoes, your pants, your shirt, your bracers. So I've already got those 4 items, and then you can wear jewelry. So there's a necklace and a ring you can wear. So 6 items altogether. And with the ring and necklace, you can't get you know, like armor rating out of it, but you can get bumps for, you know, attack power on the bow, better armor, just a number of different things. Okay, I'm gonna grab some of this stuff. I'm getting real heavy again, so I'm gonna have to start paying attention to my weight. Alright, so yeah, I really gotta pay attention to my weight. So I should be safe as soon as I kill this last guy here. So yeah, speaking of motion aiming, you know, with the Xbox it's all joystick, and I'm not real good with my motor skills on the fine-tuning of the aiming. So a lot of times I'll have to use my, you know, my actual body movements to fine-tune my aim a little bit better. And I tend to overshoot it, so that's why you kind of see me wiggling back and forth a lot. And I'm really out of practice on the Xbox right now, so in time this will get better. But for my first few videos, it's really gonna suck. Okay. So again, double damage while you're crouched. Take your time, get the furthest enemy first, and you should have some time to do some more damage there than what I was able to do, as long as you follow those rules of thumb. Alright guys, now that perk I got for sleeping, you know, the quicker, whatever, 10% bonus on skills, I think that lasts for a full day in Skyrim. Okay, now there should be some goodies here. There should be a bump book. Boom, baby. And notice that value. What is that? £1 for 70, so that's not bad. So I usually do take those, you know, after I've read them and unlocked whatever bump they give me. Just, you know, to get a little bit more cash flow going. Okay, so that's pretty much it for right here. We can't really do too much forge work right now, so I'm not going to bother with that just yet. But I will take a moment and go around and get some of these lootables. Oh yeah, fishing. That came with the anniversary update. I played with it a little, and yeah, it was fun, but for the purposes of this walkthrough, I probably won't do too much of that. It's kind of time-consuming, and the quests I didn't find super rewarding. But, you know, if there's folks out there that really want me to do a video on the fishing aspect, you know, I will at some point. It's just not a priority right now is all. Alrighty, guys. From here, now, there is some hanging moss in this cave. Unfortunately, I've never been able to figure out how to reach it. And I've never had success in just shooting it down either, so that's super frustrating. But that's another one of those prime cooking ingredients for real expensive elixirs. Or whatever they call that in this game, potions. Ah, the weight. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to start tapering back on. Unfortunately. You know, the more you can carry out, the better, because you can sell it, and that really gets you a good head start. Just unfortunately, you're just real limited on the weight. So what I sometimes do in playthroughs is I'll just go straight to that village and, you know, do a bunch of selling, get my follower, and then I'll come back here with my follower and with, you know, more weight capacity and kind of scoop out more stuff. So, you know, I might revisit that. But for right now, I'm just going to kind of finish what I started. And each sack is separate, so sometimes when they're real close together, it makes it hard to figure out, you know, which one you're looking at. Just keep in mind the cursor is usually pretty accurate. So that's the center one, that's the top one, and that's the bottom one. Usually. Sometimes things aren't placed perfectly, but... And notice, guys, I'm getting a lot of salt pile here. Stack up on that while you can. That's going to combine with many different things to make... Oh, God, I can't think of the name of it right now. Oh yeah, get all this stuff too. Check this out. You got gemstones here. Those sell for a lot. Not only that, you need them for other stuff too, so yeah. Gemstones, gemstones, gemstones. And they're smaller in this game than Breath of the Wild. They're real hard to see sometimes, so that's why sometimes you see me just really, you know, zooming in with my view, trying to find that kind of stuff. I want to make sure I'm not missing a bunch of good loot for y'all. Alright guys, now this charred skeever hide, that makes another potion, but it doesn't sell as good as the others, but I do, you know, usually carry a few of them. Okay, notice that little cave that went off to the side there. Okay, now there's some hanging moss, and sometimes I get lucky and I can get the jump just right and I can grab that. But before I do that, there's some more goodies. Oh, check that out. Novice. So the harder the lock, the smaller the sweet spot. So keep that in mind when you're trying to find the center of a given sweet spot. Alright, let's see what happens. Nope, didn't get it. I've only ever gotten it once. It was like a miracle. As much as I've played this game, that's not a good ratio. Oh, there's some hanging moss right there. I knew there was some I could collect. And I also knew there was some that were completely out of reach. Once we get our candlelight magic spell, dungeons won't be so difficult. And I'm already looking down at my recording device and I can see it's pretty doggone dark. So yeah, wow. That might make it a bit tough to kind of follow along, especially after YouTube processes the video. So I might really have to work on this capture card issue. So yes, I'm really glad I'm getting this out of the way right now. I got some daytime stuff in. I'll be able to compare that with the nighttime stuff. Okay, so we're done with the dungeon now. There's some more hanging moss there. Maybe that's the one I was thinking I could reach by jumping to it. Got it. Okay, so yeah, that was the one I was thinking of that you could reach by jumping. I don't think that other one is reachable. So yeah, I'm not seeing any more hanging moss. It is time to ski-daddle. Oh, this is what I wanted to come back for. Another thing too, when I was in combat, I forgot to mention, you know, sometimes I just can't split my focus like that. You can actually favorite your potions. So say, you know, you want the healing potion just right there on your favorites menu, you can do that. So, you know, in the middle of combat or whatever, you can just hit that up or down arrow. And again, this pauses the whole game. The bad guys freeze, everything freezes. And then you can, you know, get to your potion of healing, go ahead and eat one real quick. With, I think it's the right trigger that does that. And, you know, you'll come back out and you'll be right back into combat. Right where you left off. Super, super helpful. So I'm going to try to stop talking less now when I do combat and kind of focus on the combat, because I can see a couple of times where I almost got my butt kicked. I really don't want to have to die and reload game and all that. I really haven't been saving my game, so save your game, guys. Save your game before you enter a dungeon. Save it, you know, after you get in it a bit. You know, after you've made some progress or whatever, killed a nest of enemies. Save, save, save. Alright guys, here we are. Super, super fun. That was our first dungeon. If you made it through, congrats. If you died in there a few times, you know, that's okay. That's why we save the game. And, you know, if you don't want to do it, if it's just too difficult and you want to get your feet wet a little more doing other stuff, you know, you can always come back to it later. Now, if you're having a real hard time in there, another thing you can do, just in case you missed my intro video, you can go into settings here, and you can go into gameplay, and you can actually change the difficulty. So I think by default you get Adept. That's kind of like right in the middle. It's probably on the easier side of the middle. Expert and Adept are kind of your two middle of the road. Master and Legendary are ridiculous. Apprentice and Novice are going to be your easiest. So Novice will be the easiest, Apprentice a little tougher, Adept is where I'm at, you know, a little tougher, and then so on and so forth. Expert gets pretty hard. Master is ridiculous. I've never even tried Legendary. So anyway, like I said, if you're just really wanting to get through the challenge here, you know, and kind of learn the game along the way, there's no harm in bumping it down to the easiest setting, you know, get through it, and then, you know, as you kind of improve and kind of get a feel for the mechanics, kind of get a feel for the game, then you can always go back in here at a later time and put it back to Adept, or wherever you want it for that matter. In fact, on my first playthrough, I did kind of bump it down to the easiest setting. Then after a few hours, I started kind of feeling like I was getting the hang of things, getting my timing down with stuff, and then I bumped it to the next hardest, and then I, you know, eventually landed back to Adept, where I started out at in the first place. Alright, enough about that. I'm going to go ahead and get back on path here. This is where we sidetracked. That was just another way in and out. But if we go back up the road here, that's where that staircase was. That that I initially took into the dungeon there, or the mine. Okay, so now I always take the time to kill wildlife. You know, I can let them chew on me a little longer here. Hey, where you going, bro? Oh, he's getting his friends. Again, because that bumps up the armor skill. So, you know, I don't mind taking a little bit of nitnoid damage here and there. I won't let it get out of hand, but, in a couple of wolves, that's pretty low threat. And also, the reason I take the time to kill these, the pelts. You can craft with these, so, yeah, grab the pelts. Nuts. Okay, I really need to drop this weight, so I'm going to have to get to that town ASAP. But, yeah, just to kind of show you on the map where we're at this point. Still kind of following that major pathway. Again, right behind me there is that mine that was the first entrance. Where I am standing is our second entrance. And we are just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Riverwood. I'm going to go ahead and break video when I get to town, because there's a lot to do there. And, guys, it's real important here, especially first playthrough. To kind of do some key things here. One is going to be getting a follower, and that is going to be absolutely huge. So if you had trouble in that mine, this follower will level the playing field. They're not super powerful, you know, in the beginning. They're kind of crappy armor, crappy weapons, but it's a distraction. So you're not fighting, you know, 3 guys at once like I was doing. It's 2 on 3, so, you know, less arrows and weapons coming your way, more time to kind of pick off the one that's the immediate threat. And then you can kind of work your way down from there, and eventually you'll have to help your follower kill whatever they were working on. So, okay, yeah, enough, you know, about that. That's kind of bleeding into the next video. But I just kind of wanted to tell you there are some key things we need to do here in Riverwood that will get you a very big leap forward in your combat capability, survivability, and your ability to kind of progress with the game. Alright folks, so I hope you enjoyed our first dungeon there. This is Riverwood. Again, I'm going to go ahead and break video here. Hope to help you all out. Best of luck to you guys, and happy hunting.